Hello, this is Kaveh Ipakchian. This is December 8th, 2015. This project is the training requirements for the capstone course for EM 395, Leadership and Ethics. And I'm going to transfer over to the slides. Hopefully this works this time. It's the third time recording this. This project is for the product development capturing customer requirements project. Again, capstone EM 395. Move this cursor out of your way. My name is Kaveh Ipakchian. I am the subject matter expert that will be doing this training course. A little bit about myself is I have a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering from Michigan State University. I got this in 2006. I started off as a mechanical engineer, and about my between sophomore and junior year, I switched from mechanical engineering to civil engineering. Me personally, I like to, I guess, see the project getting built as a whole, rather than perhaps maybe working on a small part that's in a vehicle that you might not be able to see your work. So that was a decision I made. Unfortunately, I guess luckily I didn't waste much time, because I had most of your core classes for both mechanical and civil are both the same. From there, I went and worked for a engineering firm where we did roadway design. I did roadway design for Walmart's, and during that time frame, or I guess after that time frame, I went and worked for the VA hospital as a project engineer, and that's where I took a bunch of training classes and received my professional engineering license from the state of Michigan, and that was in 2011. Concurrently, I had been taking classes for Masters in Engineering Management from Eastern, expected graduation 2015. So that gives you a little bit of background about me. Currently I work for the VA Medical Center in Iowa City. I am the Assistant Chief of Engineering, and we deal with millions and millions of dollars worth of construction. We have our minor construction program, which is projects up to $10 million. We have 3 of those currently ongoing. We're building a new OR. We are also building a new PACT, which is a patient-aligned care team project, and along with renovating some space for patient support services. And then we have our NRM program, which is non-recurring maintenance. And the non-recurring maintenance program is very busy, to say the least. So one of the things we do on a daily basis, though, no matter how big or small the construction project is we determine what the customer wants, what they need, and essentially try and funnel out what they don't need. We're dealing with strict budgets, so a lot of wants are not necessarily incorporated into the projects. These are just needs, and the wants of the project are the first things that are pulled off. We establish budgets for these projects and try to stick to the budget. Try not to get scope creep. Nurses and doctors are very well known for doing that, so we try to eliminate that whenever possible. Me personally, I manage about 6 to 7 different engineers. Excuse me, I'm sick here. 6 to 7 different engineers, interior designer, and then 4 engineering technicians. We all work with the customers to address their concerns and any unforeseen issues. The target audience for this training program are any young aspiring engineers, someone with a passion, really anybody that wants to learn about product development. That is our main goal. No prior backgrounds needed for this course. It's a self-paced course. Training is tailored towards ages 19 to 24, but all ages are welcome to attend, males and females alike. Again, very, very good class. Look highly upon in the private sector, which is important. All right, next Next slide. The product development training seminar, capturing customer requirements. Again, this is training at your own pace. Training seminar is worth 2 PDHs, which are professional development hours. A lot of different companies require that you have a certain amount of professional development hours per year. I know one of the new things that started this year for me was that your PE license, you need to have 40 hours of continued learning. So this would count towards 2 development hours for learning. So I'm just going to go over the brief structure of the training program, so you guys are all aware of it before we get into the nitty-gritty. And that is introduction to product development using lean production, understanding and applying the Pew model, or Pew matrix as it's interchangeably said, and this will happen later on in the lesson. Quality function development. We'll be spending a lot of time with this, as this is very important to the product development process. And then we will get into questions and answers later, but as far as the certification and project development, you will get your certification if you score 80% or higher on the test that precedes this lesson. The certification will be mailed to your email, and again, you can record your learning at whatever way you guys would do that typically. Again, target audience 1924, and to get started, send me an email for the training link. I am the subject matter expert, Kaveh Ipakchian, and you can see my email address is right there, kipakchian@gmail.com. This next picture here is just a really good expression. What customers need is how we feed. Essentially, that's what we need to do our job. Without the customer, if the engineer just took it upon themselves to go and assume what they needed, bad things will happen. So what do customers consider? Customers consider a vast amount of information, but I've broken it down here to 7 main things that I think are very important that the customers would think about. They're listed here. Durability. Is the product durable? Price. Does it fit within your price range? Maintenance. How often or how not often do I need to maintain this product? And also, how often am I going to use this product, which would be the frequency of use. These are very important characteristics. Comfort. Depending on the product, is this comfy for the user, or is this something that creates a hindrance? Again, every customer is different, so getting all the information from a vast variety of background of people is very, very important. And then aesthetics and functionality are very important too, because a lot of people will be turned off by a product if it's not aesthetically pleasing, and obviously functionality is one of the key requirements. Customer requirements introduction. The problem. The first task in a product development process is to identify the problem with a task or process that can be made better. It could be a lawnmower, so the example I'm going to use here. 20, 30 years ago, we had the push lawnmowers with the blades on them. They spun around and the grass, cut the grass blades, and they were just left on the ground for natural fertilization, essentially. Now we have push mowers, lawnmowers, riding lawnmowers, lawnmowers with engines that not engines, radios rather. So again, the advancement of the lawnmower has been very significant. Goal. The goal is to develop a solution that not only meets the project budget, the project schedule. Main thing that everybody should be shooting for, especially the chief engineer, is that we are capturing the customer requirements for that product. If we don't do that, we're not doing our job. That is the most important topic, capturing the customer requirements. Okay. Again, very important. All right. Quality must be designed into the product, not inspected into it. Quality can be defined as meeting customer needs and providing superior value This focus on satisfying the customer needs places an emphasis on techniques such as quality function deployment to help understand those needs and plan a product to provide superior value. Quality function deployment is a structured approach to define customer needs or requirements and translating them into specific plans to produce products to meet those needs. The voice of the customer is a term to describe these stated and unstated customer needs or requirements. The voice of the customer is captured in a variety of ways: direct discussion or interviews, surveys, focus groups, customer specs, observation, warranty data, field reports. I mean, the list goes on. This understanding of the customer needs is then summarized into the product planning matrix, or as other people would say, that the house of quality. This information is all from the DRM Associates, and it's very informative. I found that it was a good read for myself, and it was would really capture the essence of product development process. Excuse me. While the quality function deployment QFD matrices are a good communication tool at each step in the process, the matrices are means and not the end. The real value is in the process of communicating and decision making with QFD. QFD is oriented towards involving a team of people representing the various functional departments that have involvement in the product development: marketing, design engineering, quality assurance, manufacturing and manufacturing engineering, test engineering, finance, and product support. These are all very important aspects. The active involvement of these departments can lead to balanced consideration of the requirements, what's at each stage of the transition process, and provide a mechanism to communication. Knowledge that is known by one individual or department may not otherwise be communicated through the organization. The structure of this methodology helps develop personal understand essential requirements, internal capabilities, and constraints, and design the product so that everything is in its place and is achieved to the desired outcome. Essentially creating a satisfied customer. Again, very, very important topic. Without a satisfied customer, you don't have a good product. You won't make a good profit. Essentially, it'd be a fail all around. Excuse me. Quality function deployment helps develop personnel maintain a correct focus on the true requirements and minimizes the misinterpretation of customer needs. As a result, this QFD process is effective communications and quality planning tool. Capturing the voice of the customer. Again, we will hit on this several times throughout this project. Capturing the voice of the customer is important to remember that there's no one monolithic voice of the customer. Customer voices are very diverse. In certain consumer markets, there are a variety of needs. There are even multiple customer voices within one organization. It could be the voice of the procuring organization, voice of the user, voice of the maintenance organization. Again, several different topics. One technique to accomplish is to use multiple columns for different priority ratings associated with each customer voice in the product planning matrix. And we'll get more into this later with the Pew matrix. You'll have your attributes on your side, you'll have your weights, and you'll have your weighted averages at the bottom. The selection choice is going to be very clear. Quality function deployment requires that the basic customer needs are identified. Frequently, customers will try to express their needs in terms of how. The need can be satisfied, and not in terms of what is needed, but essentially who, what, when, where, and why. All these questions are asked. We gather all the information, tabulate them, and essentially we will be funneled and directed into the correct path. Once all these needs are gathered and organized, and this is quite a long process, but it's very important. We have a slew of information. We have interview notes, required documents, market research, customer data. Being able to take these bits of information and clearly organize them, get rid of duplicate information, is very important to the process. And knowing how to funnel and what the best way of funneling through the information is also extremely important. In addition to stated customer needs or unstated needs or opportunities, both of these should be identified. Needs that are assumed by customers and not verbalized can be identified through preparation of a functional tree. These needs are not normally included in the QFD matrix unless it's important to maintain focus on one or more of these needs. Now we're going to be getting into the QFD methodology. Basic quality function deployment methodology involves 4 basic phases that occur over the course of the product development process. During each phase, one or more of the matrices are prepared to help plan and communicate critical product and process planning and design information. This QFD methodology flow is going to be represented on the next slide here. And again, it's a 4-phase QFD approach, and I will walk through the process here. If you would just follow on the screen and take a look at the first step, which begins with product planning. And this also continues with the product design and process design and finishes with process control. Quality control, testing, equipment maintenance, and training. As a result, this process requires multiple functional disciplines to adequately address this range of activities. QFD is a synergistic with a multifunction product development teams. It can be a structured process for these teams to begin communicating, making decisions and planning the product. And it's also a useful methodology along with the product development teams to support a concurrent engineering or integrated product development approach. That's an important part of that again. It supports a concurrent engineering or integrated product development approach. QFD, by its very structure and planning approach, requires that more time be spent upfront in the development process, making sure that the team determines, understands, and agrees with the needs that need to be done throughout this process. If that team does not agree on what needs to be done, you will not get a product with the main goal in mind for the whole team. So that's a very crucial part. Again, they need to be able to understand and agree what needs to be done before they go into the design. Excuse me. This QFD process requires discipline. It's not necessarily easy to get started with it, and there's a list of things that need to be done to help facilitate using QFD. Management needs to be committed to it. That's first and foremost. If you don't have management committed to the QFD process, you're probably not going to be successful with it. You also need to establish a multifunctional team. We need to get an adequate time commitment for this and buy-in from all the team members on board. If you don't have buy-in, that's okay. You're not going to get buy-in from everybody, but as long as the manager can direct and control his employees and they're on board with it, everything should work out in the process favor. QFD training, practical hands-on exercises, all of these things to learn the methodology and use the facilitator to guide these during the initial starts where you can find all of your, for the most part, you'll find your errors in your start. Having regular meetings to maintain focus and figure out if there's anything that's drifted off the path is very important as far as the schedule is concerned. And avoid gathering perfect data. You're never going to get perfect data. The idea is the more data you can get, the more perfect it will be. Each specific piece is not necessarily going to be perfect, so that's just important to realize. Quality to function deployment is an extremely useful methodology to facilitate communication, planning, and decision-making with the product development team. It's not a paperwork exercise or any additional documentation that must be completed. It really is a tool to help reduce the development cycle time and the overall cost of the process. All right, product definition. Product definition is a critical starting point in the development of any new product, and there are a number of common shortcomings that happen with this process that I wanted to go over to make sure that everyone's aware of them, so we don't make these happen, or so these things don't occur. And these shortcomings are listed here. No defined product strategy, lack of formal requirements as a basis for initiating product development, product requirements development without true customer input. That's probably the worst thing. A marketing requirement spec, MRS, as a short term, that is completed late or after the development is underway. At that point, it's pointless. You have the design. It's the cart's dragging the horse, so to speak. Engineering have little or no involvement. That's another big problem. A lot of times, not everyone's going to think of everything. Having the more people involved, especially the engineers on the project, are very important with identifying issues that may or may not occur, and not understanding also the requirements. An incomplete, ambiguous, or overly ambiguous marketing research spec is not. That is a shortcoming. Creeping elegance, or a constantly evolving spec that requires increasing development scope and redesign iteration. This, I can't tell you how often I see this on a day-to-day basis at my job. I currently work at the VA. There are very few companies that have this formal product planning process. It is a rigorous process, but it's very important to the overall result. Market conditions are going to change. New product opportunities are going to be identified. The changes may result in reprioritizing development. But at the end, you might need additional personnel to undertake this, but it is a very important thing. Next slide will be the organization of customer needs. I think I already went to this. Product planning. Sorry, I think I skipped a slide there. Product planning. Define an overall strategy for products. Define target markets, customers, competitive strengths, and a competitive strategy. We need to be able to position planned products relative to competitive products, identify what will differentiate or distinguish these products from the competition. Very important. Rationalize these competing development projects and establish priorities for development projects. And provide a high-level schedule of various development projects. That way everyone can see where their part of the puzzle fits in, and they can get their deadlines done by their due date. And estimate development resources and balance project resource requirements within a budget is will help meet the overall business plan. All right, now we're back on track here. Organizing customer needs. Again, as I mentioned, once these are gathered, they need to be organized. All these notes, market research, all these things can be very overwhelming, but they just need to be able to be sorted through methodically in these key needs addressed. Brief statements which capture key requests and requirements are transcribed onto cards, and these cards are organized into logical groups or related needs, and making sure we take out any redundancies is very important to just, I guess, make a better decision. All right, the comprehensive specification. These customer needs then have to be translated into a set of product requirements. This is a more technical aspect in nature, and typically this is why you would get engineering involved to help quantify and do this for you. QFD is an excellent methodology to support the objective while considering the competitive situation. QFD is a structured planning and decision-making product for capturing these needs and translating those requirements into product requirements and part characteristics, process plans, and quality production plans throughout a series of matrices. All right. Once the requirements for a product are defined, they must be managed and kept stable. When requirements are a moving target, the redesign iterations will severely impact the time to market. And to minimize the impact on time to market, more rigorous management needs to be involved and manage the requirements and manage the specs to make sure it's not going off and you're losing time. And essentially, if you lose time, you're losing money. So it's very important important QFD is followed, and the manager needs to be able to control the team, bring them back when necessary. Because a lot of times everyone needs to be drawn back into the core. And again, avoid the creeping elegance and carefully consider the need to change requirements after development has started. Knowing when to change these is very important, as if you just try to and not have the ability to adapt, you will have problems. You will have problems in the future. I repeat, do not do that. Always be able to adapt to your situation and your surroundings. It's very important as an engineer throughout life. Very critical. Now we're going to get into the Pew matrix model a little bit more, as I discussed earlier. These models are used for concept screening. Again, as I mentioned, we have the attributes, the weighted averages, and these are very good. On the left-hand side, you will have your attributes, you will have your weights assigned to them, and on the very bottom, you will have your weighted averages. Sometimes the scales that are used are +1, 0, -1, again, depending on what you're talking about. And these attributes come from the customer surveys. So this is all gathered information, sorted out, looked at, some of it tossed out, some of it not, and all of these things are, again, tabulated in what's referred to as the Pew matrix, creating a Pew model. It's easy to show people who did not have heavy involvement in the product development process, or if you need this to show approval to somebody. All these things are very helpful to be able to clearly identify and clearly, I guess, focus the path one way or another. Customer requirements workshop. If you click on the video link below and if you can identify the major faults on both the customer and provider sides. Dr. Ahmad, I guess for the purpose of this, I'm not going to have the 7-minute video. I will send you the link separately. Again, there's been issues with this program. Hopefully this is working this time, but the link will not show up for some reason. So I will send you that link separately so you have that. However, the customer faults, after you watch the video, I've named four big ones here. The customer has too strict specs, almost to the point where it's not feasible, which is, I guess, is a provider fault, is they're agreeing to something that's not feasible. Another customer fault is that they're not sure of what they're actually looking for, and that's a big problem if you don't know what you want. And I guess on the flip side, the provider results, they're just giving the customer what they want to hear. They can't even do what they're asking for because it's not possible. So there's no understanding there, clear understanding there, I should say. There's poor communication to relay the problem at hand. The customer is trying to say what they want more than tell them what the problem is and let the provider figure out what's needed to help them come to the solution. The provider also did not do any research that was done to understand the needs. Just trying to figure out how to fix it is not what you need to do. You need to understand the problem, so then you can understand, all right, here's my problem, here's what I need to do to fix it. Not just agreeing with the customer saying, yes, we are going to do that, and not just give them what they want to hear. And the customer would not accept the fact that they're wrong. I mean, the model is always, the customer is always right, but in the engineering world, that's not the case. Excuse me. Provider faults should have, they should also have come up with other solutions for the customer and said, well, instead of just focusing on what they know and want, give them alternatives. Give them 3 or 4 alternatives and let them, maybe it would, jog their memory on what they need, and I think overall you'll have a better end result. And maybe you won't. Maybe you'll come back to the original result, but I think it's important to at least make those known to the customer. All right, I'm going to go over some objectives now. These are items that I find are very important, and as a hint, you may see some of these on the test that you will be taking later on for the certification. Again, you need to get 80% on the test in order to get the certification, and I'll get into those details later. So the Toyota product development system was the leader in lean production and still continues to set the bar with regards to product development. Product development is the process of designing, creating, and marketing new products or services to benefit the customers. When customers are involved in the product development via surveys, testing, any type of thing that will develop your key requests, key needs, the end result will be more demand, thus more profit, and the company developing a better product. Lean production needs to be looked at very closely as well with regards to the production process. Unnecessary excess weight will result in less profit, and this excess waste is also not a good engineering practice. There's ways to cut costs, they should be looked at. And there's always ways to cut costs. It's how much time and effort it takes to find those cost-cutting measures. That's very key importance. Information about customers, clients, and patients shall be kept confidential. This is important to build long, trusting relationships with consumers that are doing the product. And we're also going to be asking them for accurate 360-degree feedback, so we get to know what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, and what sets us above, what sets us away from the norm. Customers do not always just care about the price of an item. A customer is much more willing to pay for a higher quality product. I know myself, I'd rather buy a high quality product once than several poor quality products. My dad always said I'm too cheap to buy poor tools, meaning that you buy one tool, you buy it, might be the most expensive tool out there, but you're buying it one time. You're not buying several bad tools. Quality function deployment, QFD, must have structure in order to properly define its customers' needs. Without this QFD process, will not be likely to become successful, and ultimately this means unhappy customers, and profits on this product or process will also decline. It takes a number of disciplines to collaborate together to make the product successful, and these disciplines, I'll name some of them here, include sales and marketing, manufacturing, engineering, human resources, finance, design, studio, product planning, and purchasing. Essentially, all these pieces of the pie come together to collaborate together. Potential customers are the most important part of the project development process, and knowing their likes and dislikes will significantly improve the process. And you would do this again with customer surveys. There's a number of tools out there to get this information. Knowing what can be done to improve a product and receiving this information once it has been put into use by a variety of customers is important to the success of the company. Again, as I mentioned earlier in this presentation, the ultimate role of the chief engineer is to deliver value to the customer. If the customer does not feel like this is the case, you'll more than likely not have a repeat customer. And the purpose of getting a customer is get the word of mouth out there that everything's doing great, and that will get you the repeat customers. All right, we're going to go through the test questions. Typically, in this setting, the trainee would take the test via the same way they would take a test in EM 695. I'm not going to have you do that, so I'm just going to read the questions and the actual answers. All right, here we go. Question 1. Toyota product development system set the standard for lean production. That is true. Question 2. Which of the following was not one of the 3 primary systems of Toyota's PD system? A, process, B, skilled people, C, design, or D, tools and technology? The answer is C, design. Question 3. Blank is the process of designing, creating, and marketing new products or services to benefit customers. The answer is B, product development. The other 2 possible solutions were product design and early problem solving were not correct. True or false? Waste created by poor engineering is the most destructive waste. That is a true statement. True or false? Customers should come second in the product development process to profit. That is false. Customers need to come first. Question 6. Which of the following was not true in a matrix organization? A, it provides an excellent balance of functional expertise and cross-functional integration. B, customers' focus is not part of the project organization. Or C, it provides flexibility in assigning resources to programs. The answer is B. Customer focus is not part of the project organization. Customer surveys are not that important in the product development process. This is false. Customer surveys are very important. We went over this several times. True or false? Question 8. Lean production is important in the product development process. True. Being able to know when to cut waste and being efficient is very important. True or false? Question 9. For a business to excel in the product development business, a company does not need highly skilled, capable people. It only needs motivated people. False. It needs all of these to be able to succeed. Question 10. In a lean production system, people learn best from either A, direct experience, B, mentoring, or C, competing. The answer is direct experience and monitoring. 11. Speed in product development depends on professional trust. True. That is a true statement. Question 12. Professional trust has 3 elements: integrity, competence, and recruiting. That is false. Question number 13 asks what 2 aspects about a product are customers most concerned about? Price and quantity, quantity and quality, price and convenience, and price and quality. And the answer is D, price and quality. And I would thoroughly agree with that one. Question 14. Customer feedback after a product is released is important because engineers and designers are interested in improving future or similar products. That's very true. And you'll see that in the case of, I'm going to use iPhone. You get the iPhone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Probably you'd have a 6 Plus now or 7. All these changes between models were more than likely from customer feedback about what they did or didn't like. And you'll find that the items that they did like, they kept that in the new designs. All right, where did I leave off here? Question 15. Which of the following are not necessarily necessary to collaborate with one another? Sales and marketing, manufacturing, engineering, human resources. E, none of the above. The answer is E, none of the above. All of those, again, these are the pieces of the pie. All of these need to collaborate with one another. 16. Toyota's lean management product development success comes from hard work, excellent engineering candidates, and a teamwork culture like no other. That is true. Not one part of that is false. Question 17. Being able to establish customer-defined value to separate value added from waste is important in the lean production development system. True. 18. Waste is typically is the customer's fault because of their strict requirement for a particular project. No. The waste is the engineer's fault. They need to come up with solutions to minimize the waste or find a spot for the waste to go. Question 19. Customer surveys about a project. Oh, sorry, I just read that one. Question 20. What is the chief engineer's ultimate responsibility? Profit, schedule, delivering value to the customer, or delivering quality mode development? The answer is delivering value to the customer. Question 21. Waste typically, true or false? Waste typically occurs in engineering or product development process. That is true. Question 22. Quality function deployment has no structure to defining customer needs. It's a trial and error process. That is false. They definitely have structure to the process. Question 23. Create a leveled product development process flow as part of the blank. Tools and technology, process, people, none of the above. Again, if you think of the triangle, you got the tools and technology, process, and people, and this is part of the process. Question 24. True or false? There are 13 main principles of a lean product development system. That is a true statement. Question 25, and the last question, is which of the following is the broad category of the standardization of Toyota? The answer is going to be all of the above, and I'll read the 3 options. Design standardization, process standardization, engineering skill set standardization. Again, those are all important to the process. All right, that will conclude the test. Again, this would be online. This would go through, you'd be timed. You get 30 minutes for the test. And if you get 80% or above, you would be getting certification for this course. I am now going to go into some frequently asked questions that are about this course. What is the estimated duration of the product development training class? As I mentioned before, it's slated to be between 1.25 and 2 hours to complete. Then you'll also have 30 minutes for the exam. Does this count towards any PDHs or CLPs? The answer is yes. This is 2 professional development hours. Again, that is if you score 80% or higher on the test. Another question, are there any prerequisites for the training course? No. Having an engineering background or involvement helps, but there's all types of people, different career choices. This is just a very, very good class overall. What is the cost of this training seminar? This training seminar is $19.95. If you need to repeat the course just to be able to get the certificate, it's $10.95. And people that do referrals are getting a discount of $7, and they will be charged $12.95. If you are a referral and still need to take the class again, it's still $10.95 to administer the exam. Are there going to be any follow-on courses with the same SME, Kaveh Ipakchian? Yes, there will be some follow-on courses. They will take place next year in December. There are 2 courses you can see there. Is project management, and that's 3 PDHs, and then also program management, which is also 3 PDHs. Again, those will be available around December 2016. Are you able to stop and continue the seminar, or does this need to be taken at one sitting? You are able to stop, but keep in mind you only have that allotted time. You only have you only have 3 hours max. So use your time wisely. If you need to stop the test, feel free to stop the test. But once you go back into it, the time will start immediately. You can't just walk away and come back. So it does have certain requirements. And how would we receive the certification? These certification, once it's passed, make sure that there's no issues, and we do a once over on the exam. And what would happen is the email that you would give us to sign up for the training seminar, that we would send you the link to this presentation. That is the same email back. You will be sent the certification. If there's any certain spellings in your name or stuff you want added as far as your name is concerned, please let us know before you take the test. That way we can look at that and make sure that the wrong certification is not generated. Here you can see the references that were used to teach this course in this presentation. And I will open this up to any questions and answers. And if you have any questions and answers, please email kipakchian@gmail.com. Again, this is Kaveh Ipakchian for Capstone EM 695, Leadership and Ethics. Thank you very much. Bye.